Okay, it's 5 o'clock, so I'd like to open the meeting for the North Carver Water District Commission. This is Wednesday, February 15th, 2023 at 5 p.m. We're going to forego the agenda right now to get small water in first because they have an emergency they're working on. So we have Greg from Small Water. Okay, Greg, what do you got for us before we go to questions for you?
So we installed the blower, installed it, wired it, tested it, and it is working properly. And now we are just in a holding pattern with the well. So we're just waiting on the well, and then once that's in and installed, then we should be good to go.
Okay, and it's still looking at the same time frame, so it should be about 8-10 weeks right now then for the wet end?
Yes.
Okay.
If you guys would like a update, I can ask Joyce tomorrow if she can, get an update, but that's the last I heard was 8 to 10 weeks.
Okay, no, I'll probably follow up with Joyce Direct in a couple weeks, okay?
Okay. Yeah, that sounds good.
Because as long as there's not any more delays other than what we knew of,
Right.
we'll go with that, and I'll follow up.
Okay.
Okay? So that's it with the plant right now.
Yep.
How are we, have you done any meter installs for any new customers?
We have not. Are you talking meters or radio transmitters?
Well, actually, it would be new meters. I know that,
New meters we have not done
all right,
since that one we installed at that house that had that issue that one night, which I'm forgetting, 13 Green Street.
okay, so we've not installed a meter at 170, excuse me, 166 or 168 Plymouth Street?
I do not believe so.
Okay, because I know that a water line was put into the house, that's why I'm asking.
Okay. I'm actually going to grab a piece of paper real quick to write this down. 168 Plymouth, you said?
I believe it was 160, it was 166 or 168. My house is 164, there's a piece of land next to it with the small building with no water, and then the next place would be, I think, 168.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me check in. I will check in on that just in case that did not come across my desk. I'll ask Steve, but as far as I know, I don't believe we did.
Okay, all right.
But like I said, I'll check in on that.
Okay, because what we're trying to do is not make it more difficult for you or anyone else, but we're trying to tighten up that all parties that are involved in installing new water services and water meters with the radios, that we're all like on the same page at the same time and not finding out like 2-3 months later.
Right. Yep.
So like if I'm driving around just my normal day-to-day business, if I see someone digging and putting a whip in the ground, I will be following up about, has anyone pulled a permit for the service? Has anyone submitted, to the town hall? Have you been notified to do a meter install, et cetera, things like that. So we're just trying to keep, clean things up and, I guess, streamline it so we're all on board at the same time.
Right. Absolutely.
Okay. So that's that. You guys have anything for Greg?
Well, that being said, when you do connect up new services, the well's disconnected, right? Completely severed, so it's not cross connection.
Can you say that one more time, please? Sorry.
I'm just wondering, when you install the new water services and they're reconnecting the public there and disconnects the well, so there's no cross connection.
You're saying when they tap the main and run a service to a house?
Yep, that has a well, that they're disconnected from the well. I just want to make sure it's not being...
Oh, yes, yep, absolutely, yes.
Cool.
So we ran into that at 13 Green Street. That was completely physically separated, disconnected.
Great, thank you.
Yep.
I think the only other thing I have is at some time down the road, which is further in our agenda, Greg, is that 9 Hines Ave, which was a new customer due to that Plymouth Street water main extension, like at my place and others.
Yep.
The meter was removed without being notified right away, but eventually we were, and it was
Okay.
because of a house fire. The house was totaled, and the builder who was hired to do the project of redoing the house was afraid that when the demo crew came in, they would, the copper would disappear, including the meter, and also he didn't want damage done so water, did more damage. So he shut the
Right, yep.
water off at the street, and he removed the meter, and the builder has custody of it. I have
Okay.
spoken to the homeowner, so just so you're aware, and that won't be anything for a long time, but that's the condition of that property. And that, again, that's on our agenda for tonight, but I just wanted to make you aware that you might be getting a call down the road to, put the meter in. I don't think there was a radio on that meter either,
Okay.
because that was one of the first installs, I believe.
Yep.
Okay?
Yeah, I remember doing that one.
Okay. And I think, I'm looking through the list here.
Backflow.
Not backflow, that shouldn't even be there. Oh, I know what it was. I know one water meter that was been problematic for the billing department, and I know Steve has looked at it, and it
Yeah.
would have been, I forget the address, but it was at Cornerstone's Restaurant,
Yeah, yep.
that if that's been repaired, replaced, or looked at again.
I don't know if it's been looked at again past what Steve did
Okay.
a couple weeks prior.
Okay, all right. Maybe if, when you guys aren't as busy with the water main and sewer line break, if you could circle back and give me an update on that,
Yep, absolutely.
okay? And
Cornerstone. Yep.
I think that's all I have.
Okay.
Any of the other members?
I'm good.
Okay. All right, Greg, thank you very much. Have fun tonight.
Absolutely. You guys have a good night.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Yep, bye.
All right. Bye.
So, a little bit more info on what you would ask Greg. So, a lot of times what they'll do is like the plumber will do all the plumbing work, and then when the meter's ready, they set the meter, but the plumber the town's been contracting for a lot of these projects
Yeah.
because of well contamination. The plumber's the one who's disconnecting and making sure there's no cross connect.
Okay.
The guys at Small Water follow up and look at it, but they're not doing the plumbing. They're just,
Yeah.
they're just doing the meter install.
There's an extra set of eyes on it, that's all.
Yep, absolutely, and they are doing that. So, okay, so why don't we get back to the agenda? So, item number 1, approval for determination and consent of KP Law pursuant to Massachusetts Rules of Professional Conduct, Rule 1.7, representation of Carver, North Carver Water District and Middleborough for drafting of intermunicipal agreement for a meter pit. In a nutshell, and it is in your packet, in a nutshell is one of the things, this well contamination and the plant, let me back up, not well contaminated, with the failure of the plant this past summer, an ongoing issue has been a meter pit to divide Carver, the North Carver Water District, and the town of Middleborough when we get their water. Long story short, the law firm that represents Carver also represents Middleborough, so there was a conflict of interest. There were meetings that I did not attend and I wasn't aware of till they drew up the document that the town of Carver and the town of Middleborough got together. They did whatever they had to do legally to get approval that the attorney could look at the documents for this meter pit and the installation and the payment and everything else, and that he wouldn't be violating any ethic laws by representing the two towns. So it was agreed on that he could, do the legal work for all parties. And we do have that to sign tonight. And it's also in your packet, the agreement between the towns.
Yep.
Okay? So I'm going to pull that out and sign that. And that's all dated to
Yeah, that's so once everything is resolved with the water, and if for some reason we go back on it, we're gonna get metered, the town of Carver will get metered for the,
Correct, instead of trying to go by approximate consumption,
right,
reading everyone's meter to get an idea of what it is, they'll get a true reading at that meter pit on the town line.
yes.
That's been behind the installation because of this, as well as materials, and they had to do some engineering on the Middleborough side.
Keep going, sorry.
Oh, no, please.
Whose meter is it?
It'll be the town of Middleborough's meter,
Okay, so they're gonna,
but Carver is paying for it.
so then who does who we doing the testing and paying for that?
Middleborough, my assumption is, I don't know the answer,
Yeah.
my assumption is we will be doing that because it's,
Okay, so-
we're gonna be taking care of the cost of this, but Middleborough's facilitating the install and the maintenance of it.
And it's a one-way meter, right?
Yes, yeah, there is a bypass and all that, yeah. This has been long before us, going back a decade, back and forth about doing this meter. So if I can get you some of that. Okay. Yeah, so I did visit the site back late summer when they were laying it out, and they had some engineering stakes out, and there was a crew there. And at that time, I was told that there was a halt on the job because the property line for the town is different than what they had when they engineered it.
Yeah.
So they had to get an easement and all that and move it around.
It was
So-
like 20 feet difference.
yeah, but they, it is in the process of getting done. As usual, we've kept rules and regulations on our agenda. I have one item that might fit into that description. Did anyone else have anything?
Nope.
Okay, so I've glanced, like most of us, I've glanced at the rules and regulations, I've looked at things closely when we needed to. I don't know it verbatim, a lot of it is legalese and beyond, I won't say beyond me, but you know what I mean, it's hard reading. But one of the things, the rules and regulations is like, what our responsibility is the North Carver Water District, and what the customer's responsibility is. What I'm finding, the short time I've been involved with the district, is there's a lot of gray areas with billing, especially. Like, how do you handle a situation that you've got a customer, the household's been a customer for whatever property owner for, let's say hypothetically, 2 years, and all of a sudden the meter doesn't work or the radio device doesn't work to get the reading. So what do you do with it? Well, in the past, they've either not billed water, and then maybe sometimes they'll bill a minimum charge. I'd like to open that up for discussion. I mean, I had two ideas, because the same size doesn't always fit. If it's an existing customer, and the meter fails, but they still get water, or the radio transponder doesn't work and we can't read the meter, and we're trying to get into the property to fix it, people sometimes are not letting us get in the property because they're either getting free water or they're getting water at just the minimum rate. So there's two things: charge at an averaged rate for the last however many reading cycles. I hate to say this because I'm not a big fan of it, but if we can't get in to fix the meter and there's no extenuating circumstance where we couldn't, we'd go through the process of shutting the water off till we can get it fixed. And I hate doing that, I really do, but,
That's a tough call.
I spend a lot of time on the phone or emails with the billing department, permitting department, what do we do in these various situations? And there's no cut dry rule in some of them.
I mean, I'm for, if we have at least a year's worth of usage, we should be able to figure an average, and it should be charged at an average.
Okay?
If it's a minimum, if they've been on 6 months, then that'll be a
Yep.
tough sell. But,
Yep.
I mean, it's gonna fluctuate in the summer compared to winter, depending on what they're doing
Yep.
in the house. But I think if we have at least a year, then we'll do an average, and you can probably base it on the past 2 years.
Okay,
That's how we usually do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
That would be the
Estimate-
charge per
you give an
quarter.
estimated bill and you estimate high.
yep, okay. And then the other situation that's arising is not that we have a lot of new customers, but we have in the last year due to that water main extension on Plymouth Street, and then a few other homes.
And it's small water that's gonna be doing those type of repairs, correct?
Small water, yes, so small water will do, they do the meter, whether it's repair it or replace it. They also do the transponder part.
Okay.
And they do all that, and they do it in-house, okay? And I know in the past there was questions about the backflows. They have in-house people. Sometimes in the busy, they'll contract some of it out, but they do have certified people in-house, including Greg, who we were speaking to.
Yeah, and speaking with them prior, I think they've been very flexible about trying to work with homeowners.
Yes, and we,
Different times of
yep,
day.
and we will continue to do that, but it's just, it's coming to
Yeah,
a point that,
This is the deadline. I mean, I think 30 days, once we know, and then,
yep,
that, all right, that sets the timetable.
yep. And I have talked to upstairs about, what is the correct right and legal way to do it, so it is, a certified mail, people being notified, emails do not count as,
Right.
some people don't have it, some people don't read them, but, certified mail, all that. The other instances is, we're trying to, although it's working right now pretty well, it was really difficult sometimes to get into people's homes to put these radio devices on, because it's, when you're a homeowner and you're basically getting drinking water for nothing, and why do you want, you get your meter hooked up, so.
Right.
That was the other issue, and that would have been at least charge a minimum.
Right.
So like myself included, I was charged a minimum for water usage until they could get me scheduled, and they did, and now I'm hooked
Now,
up the
once you're
radio
on the
device.
system, you'll have an average.
Right, exactly, so,
That's,
if I may, I'd like to suggest, let's not make a determination this evening. I wanted to bring it up. Let's mull it over and then address it again next meeting. And then also, in the meantime, figure out if we have to change the rules and regulations, or if we can just add it to, I don't know how that process works.
okay.
But, think about it, or any other idea, about tightening that stuff up. And it's really to make things easier, because if it's, the more difficult it is, the more expensive it is for us to have people chasing people and all that. And I don't want to also be overcharging people for water, I mean,
Right.
it's just a madness of fairness, So that was rules and regulations, but it was also tied in with item 5 on the agenda, and that was discussion charging a minimum water usage fee for new customers receiving water, that should be period, or receiving water with bad meters and/or having a meter without a radio transmitter. So it sort of falls in both. Repair, replace various water meters is item number 6. We talked to Greg. I think right now they're pretty well up to speed on that. I know that the one at Cornerstones has been an issue, last I heard from the billing department. Okay. Any discussion on any of this so far?
No? Okay.
Any questions? Okay. Item number 7. This is 9 Hines Ave. I mentioned it to Greg from Small Water. The situation with that home is they were a new customer. They just had the meter installed this past summer. I believe it was the first week in August. I don't believe the exact date. The fire department responded to a house fire. I've been to the property, I was there that day, but I've been since. The house is completely gutted, there's no electricity, there's no water service, that's when they removed the meter. So, in regard to us, the homeowner called finance department, and I think also permitting, called the town hall. They reached out to me. The homeowner's like, they turned the water off, there is no meter, should I be getting charged for water? My suggestion is no. I mean, when the meter goes back in, it goes in with the radio device. their, if you will, then their water service starts. So if that's what the board would like, if we could have a motion for that,
I'll make a motion.
Yeah.
okay? So,
So as of the date of the water service being turned off,
Yep.
there shouldn't be any charge to the property until it's reinstalled and put back online. Make that motion.
second?
Second it?
Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Yeah.
Very good. Thank you. So finance billing software, this is another issue that's been going on. The current billing software and the company the town uses to bill for water service from the North Carver Water District is archaic and inaccurate. It's supported by, it is a Microsoft program, I don't know tech stuff, but a Microsoft product that is no longer nor has been supported for quite a while by Microsoft. So when they go to bill, they've got to shut off all the other computer systems in the finance department to muddle through, and it takes hours or hour or more for this program to work and tabulate whatever it does, converting cubic feet to gallons to the cost to produce a bill. So it takes a lot of person hours by the people upstairs, which we pay for. So right now they have, I think they have a bid to replace this with a different company that does different software, and they will bill direct. So they'll run the software, they'll create the bill, from what I understand, send the bill out, and then the bill will get paid here, but it will be like, it doesn't go from small water to upstairs, to whoever runs this, back to upstairs, and then send a bill out. So it should streamline it, and based on that, from talking to folks upstairs, we'll save in labor cost for the billing. So it's,
Yeah, then we have an administrative bill of $60,000 a year.
yeah, well, there's still gonna be a big bill for that.
Right.
That's not gonna go away, but it might help it, or
Right.
work going to other things that be more productive. So I just wanted you to be aware of that. That's going on. Item number 10, bills payable. So, if I may. So, the first bill is they call Batch 1, and that is for professional services, vendor name, Small Water Systems, invoice 23-0482 for February, invoice date of February 1st, 2023 for $6,250, and that is the contracted price for the monthly work and services that Small Water does for North Carver Water District, not the rest of the town. So I would entertain a motion to pay that bill unless there's discussion on it.
Okay.
Yep, I'm good with it. I'm good with it. Make that motion to approve.
Second it.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so moved. Thank you, sir. There is some other document floating around that I was made aware of that didn't make it down here tonight. I think it's the finance department. And it might not even need a signature. That's the receipts of water,
Right.
billing receipts. I saw it, and then by email, but I didn't see a copy to sign. So we'll get that, we'll fix that tomorrow. I'll come up. Okay, so that's good. All right, so the next is, and everyone should have a copy of it, and that's what what we call Batch 2, and that is like all the other services that we're obligated to pay, phone bill, services of using town employees to do the work of North Carver water, billing, permitting, things like that. Extras from small water. Eric, have you gotten anywhere with, I know you were gonna work on some of this.
For the, no, digging into these,
Yeah,
I haven't gotten too far.
just
It's a
curious.
lot of
Yeah,
information.
yeah, okay. No, I,
Plus the finances, I mean, they have, everything's not kind of together. It's too-
Yeah.
You got intake and exhaust.
yeah, yeah, no.
Here I am.
Hi, how are you?
You said 5:30, right?
Yep, perfect. So what we're gonna do is gonna suspend the agenda as written for now. I'm gonna butcher your last name. Sue
Moquin.
Moquin. Sue Moquin, who's here, the finance director, correct?
Yes.
For Carver, so she's gonna go over a few things with us for our annual budget, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
So I know I gave you guys the budget and the history of the last time.
Yep.
So obviously you guys need to set some sort of parameters on what your budget's going to be.
Yep.
But we're talking about the new software, and the software is very integrated so that Amanda will be able to pull anything up whenever she wants. For the utility billing side, it's $10,000, which isn't bad. And then the annual service will just go into your indirect cost. And the people who are on the water can actually go in and pay their bills like they were on NSTAR or Eversource or anything
Right.
like that. There's going to be a portal where they can sign in with their account number, and every month if they want to pay their bills online, they can pay their bills online. So it's a really good software. And I know I talked to Elaine today. They're expecting the water department to pay back the ARPA money.
Yep.
To the ARPA, which is a lot of money, so it's something that you might want to take a look at, that and the debt that we usually pay for you, with the water department. The annual town warrant needs to be posted by the second Tuesday, I think, of March.
Okay.
So if you guys can get a meeting before then, so that whether you and I talk first, so that we can have a discussion as a group as to what your best options are. Like I said before, I've never been part of that budget process. It's always just been, here you go, this is what we need on the warrant for the last 2 years. So, but I really do want to
Right.
work with you guys on making sure that what you need and what you can afford is part of that budget.
That in lies one of the big problems. No one has ever told us how the budget works.
Okay.
I mean, I know that, and I'm gonna just go out on a limb here. We bill our customers for water consumption. I have said for years, attending water district meetings, that this is way out of whack, and I know I'm not speaking technical or professionally, but for 100 water customers, the money generated cannot support a water system. And I know that the town, at town meeting, infuses money to pay what we cannot afford. No one has ever explained to me how in God that works. Okay? I go by this. I earn X amount of money, I have a mortgage, I pay my taxes, I pay my groceries, I pay my insurance. If I don't have the money, I don't have those things. How you can take in, hypothetically, $100,000 and have to pay $1 million? Okay?
Yeah.
So I need someone to sit down and explain how this works. And I know you're stuck with it too.
Right.
Because no one ever explained it to you.
And I'm slowly starting to understand money of the third of the pilots and the diff and all this stuff. So I'm slowly starting to understand that, and I'm trying to convey to people who it affects.
Yeah.
So without, and I told this to Finance Committee on Monday, is like, without having me and you, or like me and you and Amanda, a subcommittee of something, so that you can come back and bring to the board with me here or with Amanda here, that this is what we discussed and this is why we're going in this direction. Do we need to raise water rates? Is it going to be a base rate plus consumption? You know, without us having discussions outside of being in front of the television,
Yep.
it makes us sound like we don't know what we're talking about, and I don't want to be there.
Right.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, I agree.
So,
You and I had talked a month or so back, I think, what, a suggestion to meet, come up with what we need to do to come up with a budget for this coming year. Based on the rules we have to follow, which, you know, we can't go over a percentage as far as, you know, everything goes up, inflation, all that, you know, we can only go up so far. We know that we have to pay back the ARPA funds. That will deplete half of what we have in the bank. We have about 400,000. We have to pay back $208,000. I know, you know, we've, over the months, discussed like, well, why pay this? We could just hire someone. Well, the $60,000 we pay to Small Water, you can't hire an employee.
right.
You know what I mean? Hourly wage, benefits, there's an employee right there. So it's like, I'm not trying to get off track, but it's like we need to understand the monies
Right.
to make those decisions, and no one ever explained that before people left.
Yeah, and it's not one employee to maintain a system 24/7. It's gonna-
But I'm just making a point that, you know, so half that ARPA fund is gone to do the work that we needed to do. We've had to go deeper into it. You know, the town knows about it, the town administrator, the select board, because of that, you know, added cost to this filter issue, you know, do other work at the plant. We also need to have money in the bank for other issues that could come up. You know, we'll have to budget for doing these filters again, maybe one at a time down the road.
Well, that's the thing, there's no budget around preventative maintenance.
Right.
Correct.
At all. I
And
mean,
so-
these filters failed. They were gonna fail. I mean,
Right.
We got, what, 14 years out of them?
Yeah.
They were a 10-year filter, normally, right?
Less.
Less.
For this one, because of the high iron and manganese, I
Right.
heard it was a 6-7 year filter.
Yeah.
So, with that being
Yeah.
said, like, is it possible, not my decision, but my comment, that you don't have to pay it all back at once, because you're not paying back the general fund. It's not affecting services. It's affecting what you're paying back to ARPA, and we have until December of 2024 to spend that money. So can we break it down so that you're not paying it all back in 1 year? Because initially, you guys didn't ask for the whole amount. It was half, and then all of a sudden, it's like, well, we need to do the whole thing, and so now it was the 208. So, like, the ambulance does it too. We bought an ambulance, I believe it was an ambulance last year, and they paid 160, the town paid 100, and they're paying us $20,000 back a year for 5 years. So,
That, I think,
it's a conversation.
yeah, the long answer is, I think we would have to talk to the town administrator and the select board, because it was a joint meeting that
Right.
approved the transfer of the ARPA funds, and right now, I believe the agreement was to pay the ARPA funds back on the town warrant at this meeting.
Right.
We knew going ahead that we were gonna get all the money in 1 year, but in 2 infusions, because we had to pay half up front to process the order, and then the other half upon receipt. So that was the split. We knew we were gonna have to get the whole funding,
Right.
you know, quickly, within months, so we did. They just split it because they had to get the funds right away to get
One of the parts.
to get to one of the parts, so. I can't answer that. My gut feeling is that we'll end up paying it back all at once, because that's
Right.
what the current agreement is.
Right.
Whether it can be modified, it's getting close to town meeting, so
Right, but
we
even
could
if
bring
you-
it up.
Right, but even if you do pay that back, and we do an analysis of what the revenues are
Yeah.
to your expenditures, and maybe, I don't know when the last time is that you guys changed your rates, but, is there a possibility?
2019.
Okay, so is there a possibility that your rates are lower than most towns around us, that we're higher?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
I know Freetown is high.
And again, that's that whole premise that we have a water plant, as small as it might be, the infrastructure, the piping, the maintenance of it, but you only have 100, right now you're up to about 110, 112 customers, and most of them are residential customers. So you're billing out, let's say, on average, 150, and I'm just throwing a number out there,
Right.
$150 a quarter per residential account. Some go up quite a bit this summer due to irrigation. Okay, so maybe that will go up to 600-700 for a quarter and a half. You do the math, and that's what I mean, in my head, without doing it, you do the math quick, it's like, how can you pay for a $10 million plant, the infrastructure, then flushing hydrants, paying the town, paying phone bills of $700 and something a month, okay, which is nuts, and supported on 110 customers.
And
It's,
where you
I
guys
think,
have-
been fuzzy math for
Right, and
10,
you
12
guys-
years.
And you guys have very little control over it, but if you look at the bylaws of the, putting the North Carver Water District together, you guys should have more control than you have, and you should be
We've not
able-
exercised it.
Yeah,
Yes,
okay.
yeah.
So,
It's-
so you should be able to contract with other companies, or at least say, hey, is this the best price we're getting for X, Y, and Z?
Yeah, yeah.
Whether it's Small Waterworks or any other company.
It's a learning curve. I mean, I've been
Yeah.
on 4 months, you
Yeah.
got 6.
6,
Yeah.
yeah.
Doug's,
And then everyone quit.
right, so, and we're still digging in and, I mean,
But I'm here as a resource
Yep,
for you.
yep.
If you get, like, whenever you have a meeting, if you say, Sue, I need you to get X, Y, and Z, or A, B, and C, and I can bring it and we can talk about it first,
Yep.
so that we're on the same page when we're bringing it to the rest of the board or anybody else
Yep.
who wants to sit in the audience. I think that's important. But I do have a very good understanding of water districts and revenues and expenditures have to, you have to meet those things and how you can meet them. So I'm here for you, at your disposal, whenever you guys want me.
Well, I think that what I would suggest is, why don't we set up a time that we can meet, whether it's you and I or all of us that can join. This is not going to be a meeting per se, would not be a meeting of the district, would be talking the finance.
Right, as long as you're not making decisions on
Right, it would be like
anything.
an educational thing of how this works, so that
Right.
we can come back to a meeting
Right.
and discuss it in a meeting format about making decisions. But I think that we need to get through this budgeting process. And I hate to use it this way, but buy us a little time so that we can become better acquainted and educated on the financing, how this district is financed, and try to make it, I won't say try, and make it work going
Right.
down the road.
I've been here for a little over a year and a half, and I'm still learning things every day. So
Yeah.
it's important to do that, and I do agree, get through this budget. I know that some of the finance committee members feel strongly about not paying for your debt, the debt anymore out of,
Yep.
free cash or whatever they were paying it out of. But you can't, I personally don't think that you can pay for reimbursing ARPA and paying for your debt in the same year.
No, I don't think we can either.
Right.
But again, that is what we're confronted with.
Right.
And I think that's how it's been operated, was, let's just let the town take care of it. How, I don't know, but, as far as money.
Right.
So,
So we have a couple of weeks to put a budget together
Yeah.
at least.
Yeah.
And if we need to get with Bob, and Bob present something to the selectmen about why you can or cannot pay for both of those things in 1 year, then we need to have that conversation, because yes, it looks like you guys are sitting on a lot of money, but if you pay for both those things, you're not sitting on a lot of money.
In today's world, $400,000
Is not- no.
is not a lot
No.
of money at all, to run a municipal department.
Right.
You know, albeit small, it still is. I
Right.
mean, it still has to be run.
Right.
So, are you in tomorrow?
Yes.
You're up, if the board doesn't mind, I'll
Oh, that's fine.
maybe stop in.
Okay.
At your convenience.
Yeah.
And we'll figure out a time and get the ball rolling to do this. And it hasn't slipped my mind that we got to get the budget
Yeah.
together. And then I don't know if you guys are able to maybe have a scheduled meeting prior to our next meeting
Yeah,
to discuss solely finance issues.
Yeah, and the
You know,
budget, yeah.
in a meeting, if we could do that.
Yeah.
So that'll be like, I guess, we couldn't set a date now, but maybe in the next week or two, set a date for that.
Yeah.
okay, I'm good with that.
Yeah.
Okay. And when did you say that the budget has to be submitted?
I don't know the exact date of
But it's
town
a-
meeting, but I think it's April 12th or
Yeah.
something like that. So the budget has to be presented 30 days before that
Okay,
date.
okay,
So,
okay.
and like I said, if you come in and sit with me, I can show you last year's budget, the year
Yep.
before, what we have for money for you guys, and what we should and can't pay, and then I can present it to Bob, and we can discuss, or we can present it to Bob together. and discuss.
I like the three of us to
Yeah.
be involved in that.
Yeah, so-
Because I really, I don't want, I want everyone that needs to know, and I know this is overall town budget, I know this is a small, very small part, but, and I know we're, a different entity, but the town needs to know.
Right.
The select board needs to know, the town administrator needs to know what the heck is going on with the finances of this.
Right.
The town had to bail us out to fix the plant, and I just don't want to go down that road
Right.
of like having something catastrophic, like the financing, that, and then, oops, without any knowledge of it. So, yep, that would work for us, I think.
I would appreciate it.
Yep.
I think it's important that we're all on the same page, whether it's this board or,
Yep,
that board
yep,
or,
yep, absolutely.
any board. I want people to feel confident that I'm providing them with the information that they need to make the right decisions.
Okay, yep. So if you don't mind, then I'll stop in tomorrow.
Okay.
Any, time frame that works for you? I'm available pretty much all day.
Other than the fact that I got a new dog today, it might keep me
nice.
up all night. Yeah. Yeah, I have nothing for tomorrow, so you can come in anytime.
Late morning, okay?
Yep, sure.
Okay, very good.
All right?
Thank you very much for your
Thank you,
time.
guys.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, well, back to bills payable. I hate to say this, they are what they are, they're the standard bills, our portion of the phone bills. There are, let's see, again, part of that is things that are not foreseen in the monthly budget of small water, water meter install, cost of water meters, lab fees, things like that. We have the solar array, which we get both part of the cost and part of the benefit of that. The other part goes to the town, because that was a joint venture with the town of Carver and the North Carver Water District for the, and same thing, I'm not gonna pretend I know how that is funded. I think we should have either done it all or not at all. It's your convenience, and if you have any questions on it,
just that one page, or is it all?
It's just that one page to sign, that's the signature page. And back to when Sue was here, she did mention that software thing,
Yeah.
okay? And that's been a pain as far as what we're running now for software to do the billing. It doesn't work. Okay, so we're all set with bills payable?
Yep.
Okay. All right, minutes.
We need to have a vote on batch 2.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'll make a motion on the acceptance of batch 2.
Do we have a total amount?
Total amount of,
Here you go, 4,000.
for a total of $4,419.84.
Thank you.
Second, okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so moved. Thank you, Sue. Okay, next item on the agenda is the minutes from January 3rd, 2023. I do know that, the only thing I would just like to say, I don't think it really has to be changed, is I was quite tongue-tied at that meeting, January 3rd, 2023, because we were talking about two issues a lot. One was meters, one was backflows, and I think I was misusing what I meant to say when we were talking about
Just tell
these.
me what I need to change. That's no, it's no. Do you want to mark that up?
I can mark it up, yeah, and then I'll give it back to you.
Okay.
Yeah, but other than that, it was just terminology of devices. I think I was talking meters, but I was saying backflows because we were talking backflows just before that. and
Okay.
My brain wandered off, so. So it was a, okay. Other than that, do we have,
Yeah, I'll make a motion to accept the minutes as corrected,
As amended, there you
as
go.
amended by Mr. Palmieri for January 3rd, 2023. Second.
yep, okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, all right, very good, thank you. Mark that up. Let's see. Correspondence, I do not have any correspondence. Okay,
I'll add, I did talk with the permitting department about getting a process in place. Kevin thinks there is something there, it just hasn't been, put up on the board, so if somebody wants to put in a water service, come in, pull a permit,
okay,
go through that whole process. I'll circle back with Kevin. He said there is something they're supposed to be following. I told him what we gotta nail down about, getting in touch with small water.
okay,
Keeping them in the loop, like, hey, somebody just pulled a permit, they're gonna dig the trench, put the water line, but I think small water wants to inspect this, correct?
correct.
Yes.
That's been one of the issues. So, also on that, and I don't want to put you gentlemen or myself out with unnecessary things. In the past, the North Carver Water District people have been hands-off. It's like they do this, they shuffle paper. I think we've all been a little more hands-off as far as thinking about this stuff. A month or so ago, that 13 Green Street, the town had no idea what was going on.
Right.
There was just, and there were, not, won't say the town, it was going down the road at 171 Plymouth Street. They were ready to saw cut the road. The same property owner as 13 Green Street, and the road was just freshly paved a couple of months before. Because, well, I want water. So, I would suggest that whatever is done up, that a member of the North Carver, it doesn't have to be me, a member of the North Carver Water District is on that form to sign off on any water service from the curb stop going into the house and the meter install. I don't want any more phone calls or driving down the road and seeing a ditch being dug that no one has a clue about. So,
Kevin did say, because I know small water, I know they're in and out of town throughout, the week. Kevin is fine with either himself or the the
Plumbing
inspector reviewing the trench, because say they want to get the service at least into the house.
yep, that's,
Prior to backfill, make sure it's clean,
Yep.
clean sand, it's marked,
yep,
curb stop. But
Away from the septic.
what's that?
Away from the septic.
Yeah, away from the septic, but also an as-built of the
yep,
shut-off.
yep. But yeah, that's back to one of the many things we've talked about, is there's no as-bills, et cetera, so.
All right,
Yeah.
I'll circle back, but that'll be part of it, that somebody,
Yep,
From-
yep, I'm fine with the plumbing inspector, I'm fine with Kevin, I don't mind doing it. Well, I don't mind small water, but someone that's in the loop, know what's
Small-
going on, so that that, like when we ask, any new water services going in? Yes, there are, I've been notified,
yeah, that's how I'm keeping, I mean, we're all in town, and I'd rather get notified about it prior to driving by and going, what is this?
Exactly.
So, same
Exactly.
thing, okay.
Yep, that's good.
I'll
Thank you.
update the next meeting.
Okay, sounds good.
Also, that being said, so what happens with the new pavement? I mean, usually there's like no,
It's a 5-year moratorium on
Yeah.
that job. So it didn't happen.
Okay.
It didn't happen. But that again, because, and it doesn't fall always on the town, it doesn't fall, but it's, people aren't aware, developers aren't aware that there is, they do know, they just care not to,
yeah.
Right.
So that has been addressed. DPW's aware because they get involved in this, because it is their road and all that. The contractor for the property owner has, he believes, found a routing that they can tie into the main a little before where the fresh pavement is, and then go under a sidewalk,
Okay.
along the sidewalk on the, away from the street, and go onto the get onto the property, so. they-
Like you say, I just don't want the water department to look kind of foolish for a new road and,
What do they, right, and that's what we're trying to avoid. It's like, there's sign-offs. You dig up the street, you gotta contact DPW, us,
Right.
permitting department, pay your fee, just like pulling in any other construction permit, and off you go. And then, there's a sign-off process, so. So I think that was more under board members' comments, I
Right.
think? Yep, okay. Let's see. What else? Why don't we skip to, let's do 16, any topics not reasonably anticipated by chairman 48 hours in advance of posting of the agenda. I don't have anything.
Nope, I'm good.
Okay.
Oh, is there any updates on the North Carver development?
Oh, that property, how should I say this? We're not CC'd into any of that, never have been. We were because they did do that water main extension up Montello to tie in the now defunct proposed project up there. So, no, I've not heard a thing.
So when they pulled out
Yep,
the agreement that was put in place for that project, is that now null and void?
correct, yes.
So anything that was on the table with North Carver, safety, all that is,
To the best of my knowledge, yes, all that stuff, those agreements, the
PMOS.
yeah, they were all specific to that project. So if that project doesn't go through, which it is not, to the best of our knowledge, I think, listening to town, select board meetings, et cetera, all those agreements are gone. So
Okay.
back to what we were talking about earlier with billing and the size of the department. There is no water tower. If a water tower is to be built, it would have to be built by us. If a developer were to approach the town tomorrow and get all the permitings, that whole thing would start again with public safety, North Carver Water District.
We're gonna be involved this time though, correct?
Yeah, I would hope so.
Yes.
My plan is,
Okay.
my plan is not to, whatever that guy says, it would be, this is what we need.
Okay.
And not to put anyone over the coals, but this is what we need legitimately.
Right. Okay.
Okay, so yeah, absolutely, Eric,
Okay.
yep. So yeah, I mean, we're gonna keep it on the agenda, but, I don't see anything down the road that I'm aware of. I mean,
Okay.
if you hear something, bring it up,
Yeah, I'll let you know.
Yeah, absolutely. And Doug, same thing, of course. So, let's see, next meeting, oh, and my apologies for having to move the meeting around. I was with federal jury duty the last 3+ weeks. Just got done yesterday. I thought I was gonna have to call and, well, actually, not attend. I wasn't gonna move the meeting again for
Did you
that.
have to go for that?
Federal courthouse, it was federal.
In
So-
in Boston?
Yes, yep, 3 weeks. So the last week I had to go in and I was put on a jury and it lasted, 6 days. Because the first day was just getting impaneled, so
Yeah.
yeah, it just got done yesterday afternoon. It was a lot of fun. So let's pull up our calendars.
We usually do it Tuesday, right? Or Monday? We usually do
We're
Mondays.
doing Monday. Does that still work for everybody?
Monday's good, but do you wanna? Yeah, well, it's the 15th, so I'm just thinking,
Well-
should we get another one, or do like a tentative, or maybe kind of plan ahead, because you meet.
Absolutely. For finance stuff?
Yeah.
So today's the 15th. Do you want to do,
We'll do the 27th of this month? It's a week and a half out?
yes, I would like to say, let's do that, and then with good notification, after talking to Sue tomorrow and hopefully circling through with the town administrator, maybe if we have to move it out to the following week, like the 1st or 2nd, a different night, but like the 1st or 2nd of March, but get it done at least a week and a half, 2 weeks before town meeting.
5 o'clock?
Yeah, 5 works good, so,
So just to clarify, the February 27th meeting, is that the one that's just gonna be you guys talking kind of thing, or is that a regular scheduled meeting?
that I'm hoping, I guess, would be a scheduled meeting, right, for finance?
Yeah.
Would you, yeah, I think,
For
yeah.
budget- For budget.
So we need reporting and stuff.
Yes, please, yep,
Okay.
yep. So the 27th,
Yep.
5 o'clock.
And then the following week would be the first week, Monday of the month, so I don't know if you want to bump the March meeting out a little bit.
You want to go to,
Like the 13th or the 20th, it's,
whatever you guys want to do.
I'm fine with either one of them.
6th or the 13th?
The 6th would be a week after the finance.
You want to do 13th then?
Do the 13th.
Okay,
15th.
okay. So we'll do that. This is fine. So the first one is finance, February 27th, 5 PM.
Yep.
And then the second meeting would be March, and that would be the normal monthly
Normal
meeting.
March meeting.
March 13th. And same thing, 5 PM.
Yep.
That work? Okay.
Good.
And
March already.
I know.
I know it. I appreciate everyone taking the time to come to the meeting tonight. I know they're longer, but it seems like every time we ask ourselves a question, it opens up a can of worms to delve into and figure out the best we can. So with that said, unless there's anything else, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting.
A second.
All in favor?
All in favor?
So
Aye.
adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.